Hi everyone. This is Sai from Let's Upgrade. So let's talk about how to get your certificate. It's very simple. You will see two links in the description. Number one is the place where you have to go and mark your attendance. Marking your attendance tells us like, okay, you are a legit student who have attended this particular session. Link number two is your assignment. This is where your 90% of the priority is. You have to go and submit the assignment that is given to you in this particular session. Once you're done submitting that assignment, we will be evaluating that. We will send you an email. If you get the passing criteria, then only we will give you the certificate on a particular date that is mentioned again in the description. Please check these three things, and this is the way how you will get a certificate from Let's Upgrade. Number one, mark your attendance. Number two, just go ahead and upload your assignment. Check for the email that you have received it, yes or no. What is the feedback that you have received from your trainer? Number three, check on which date the certificates will be released. Thank you. Bye. All the best. Happy learning.
Hello everyone, I'll be your instructor for Git and GitHub Bootcamp. So I'll start with my quick introduction. My name is Urvashi Singla. I am born and brought up in Chandigarh, and I started my career as a web developer, then kind of switched into trainings, and I have total 8 plus years of experience into development and training. And I have worked with total 24 plus edtech companies, and I also help candidates with interview prep and mock interviews. So that's a bit about me. Now let's get started with this Git and GitHub Bootcamp. So here I'll be giving you guys one assignment in the end of this bootcamp. Definitely we'll start with what is Git, what is GitHub, and in the end I'll give you guys one assignment that you have to submit to get the certificates. So now let's try to understand. So I'll read this PDF and PPTs, all the material later. So firstly we'll start, and I'll be providing all of it, all the material. You can get all this material through the description of this video. Alright, so firstly we'll start with Git and GitHub. Okay, so even in this, firstly I'll start with GitHub. So now what is GitHub? Okay, GitHub is a code hosting platform, cloud platform. Okay, now I'll take a very basic example here. Just like I am keeping all my code files in my laptop. Okay, so this is called local. So when you're keeping all your code files here, that means it's stored locally here. Okay, in the similar way, when you want to host your code online, when you want to store or save your code online means it is accessible by everyone. Okay, you can just share the link and it can be accessed by everyone or to a specific people. That is where you need GitHub. Okay, so let's take an example to understand it deeper. So let's say I have a group of friends here. Let's say here there are 4 people, okay, who went on a trip. Friend 1, friend 2, friend 3, and friend 4. Okay, so 4 people went on a trip. Okay, now obviously after the trip you want to share a lot of photos and videos with each other. Okay, so of course there are more ways, like if you use iPhone, generally we drop immediately. But let's say after the trip also we generally share the photo. So let's say I have to choose one medium through which everyone can share the photo in that common place and everyone can access, in simple words. So let's say if friend 1 has phone, they have a lot of photos and videos. This person also has a lot of photos and videos, and same for these two. Okay, so I have to think of one common medium where everyone can store the image or videos and everyone can access. So I want both the things. Okay, so first thing that comes to our mind is generally Google Drive. Okay, so now why we are picking Google Drive? Because even in Google Drive, if I go and see Google Drive, I can store a lot of photos, I can store a lot of videos, okay, and I can share it with everyone, and I can make it very specific with whom I want to share that photos and videos. Okay, so what is Google Drive now? It's a cloud storage platform. Simple words. A place where you are storing and you can access it from anywhere. What is cloud storage? Cloud storage means it's online. Everyone can access. Once you share it or you make it public, everyone can access it. In simple words, okay, everyone can access it. So what is the reason? So why they shared it on Google Drive? Because they all can store it, they all can store the images, and they all can access it, they all can store it and access. store and access, and same store and access. Okay, so when those photos and videos are in their mobile phones or in their laptop, whenever one person can access, okay, locally when it's stored in their mobile phones, that is exactly like a code is stored in a laptop. Okay, all the code files, whatever code you work on, or any other file, okay, PDF or PPTs, like this PPT, okay, you will get this PPT through GitHub only. So you will get the description. In the description, you'll get the GitHub link where all these PPT you will get. Okay. So the same way, the photos and videos are stored in each one's phone or laptop. In the same way, our code is stored in a laptop. Okay, so let's say if I have a React project, I have some website, I have some mobile application development, everything that you have here. Okay, only I am able to access. Okay, but if I want to add contributors, I want to add collaborators, then I have to put it online. So simply now I have to put my code. Okay, so Google Drive, you can put code. Okay, so if you want to just put it and share it with someone, you can do it, but it's not a good way, right? So what is happening in GitHub is that dedicated platform which is used majorly for sharing the code. Obviously, you can share PPT, you can share videos, you can share some files as well. You can do that. That is allowed. Okay, but here GitHub is specifically introduced to share the code, to host the code, and even I will not even say share, I'll say host the code. Now if you want to add collaborators, contributors, you want to share it with someone, you can easily do that. So this is the main idea. So just like Google Drive is cloud storage platform where you can store your files, folders, images, videos, PDF, PPTs, okay, you can store your Google Sheets, everything. Just like that, GitHub is your code hosting platform where you are going. It's a cloud storage. Okay, it's online. It's available online, so that everyone can access. Anyone can access. Okay, with whichever person you want to share it with, and you are majorly going to host your code. Okay, so the image and photos of this person's phone is equal into your code in your laptop. Okay, and when they are putting it on Google Drive, is equal into your putting your code on GitHub. Okay, that's it. This is GitHub. In simple words, this is your code hosting platform. Okay, and it's a cloud platform, means online, anyone can access, and from anywhere you can access. Okay, now what else can be stored on GitHub? Okay, it is not just confined to just code. You can store PPTs if you want. Okay, you can store PDF, like I'll be sharing. If you go to description, you can see I have added this PPT, I have added this PDF. Okay, you can share code files. Okay, any code file, mobile app, web app, software, anything you can share. Okay, you can make it private also, you can make it public also. You have all the options. Okay, you can add contributors, you can add collaborators, you can do all of it. Okay, so here, just like you guys create a profile on Gmail, okay, you create a profile on Instagram, you create a profile on Facebook, you create a profile on LinkedIn, in the same way you have to create a profile on GitHub. Okay, I will give you all the link and everything. Setup, we'll see it in one go. Okay, so setup wala part we will see later in one go. Firstly, we'll just try to understand GitHub and Git. Okay, so this is the main idea of GitHub. Okay, now next thing in this is, what is Git? So Git is a version control system. So firstly, this is important to understand. Git and GitHub are two different things. Okay, GitHub is the place where you're storing. It's a place where a code is going to be stored, and Git is the way through which you are going to push or put the code from your local to your GitHub. Okay, so next question is how you are going to put the code from local, from your laptop to GitHub. Okay, how you are going to do that? That is what we are going to see next. Okay, and this is very important. The reason this part is very important is because this is not a normal you are going to drag and drop and the file will go. Okay, there are a lot of commands, Git, which we call it as Git commands, we are going to see today. Okay, which are involved to do that. So Git is basically a version control system which helps you to put all your code, whichever is there, or anything you want to push to GitHub. Okay, so next time you don't even have to log into GitHub. You can just, once you do the setup of the GitHub locally in your system, okay, through Git commands, you want to get some code from GitHub, you want to push some code to GitHub, you can just keep on doing it through Git. Okay, you don't need a git, you don't even need to log in into GitHub. You just create an account, you just create one repository which is like a folder. Okay, and then you can just put all the code there. That's it. Then you don't even have to worry about, do I have to log in GitHub for pushing any code? No, you can handle everything through Git. Okay, it can keep a track of what you're doing. Let's say today I pushed some code, so it can keep a track of that. Yesterday I pushed a code, so it can keep a track of everything. Okay, I'll be showing you, I'll be demonstrating all of it. Okay, right now I'm just setting a base so that you understand that Git and GitHub is what we are looking at. GitHub will be the place where code will be stored. From a laptop I'm going to store it there, okay, on GitHub, and Git will help me doing all of it. Okay, you can think of Git is like, you know, in your Google Drive. Okay, you have this option of create a folder, upload the file. Okay, or who are the people who can contribute to it. Okay, so you're able to manage all of it. So you can manage all of it through Git. Okay, so we can do that. Now let's do one thing. Let's start with a GitHub setup first. Okay, so I'll show you guys my profile. I already have GitHub. Okay, but I'll guide you through how to create an account. All the links you can also open it right now, or all the links you'll get here also. Okay, I've already added everything in PPT. So here you can see this is how it looks like GitHub initially when you log in. Okay, so firstly you all are supposed to create an account. Okay, so I'll show you from here how to create an account. So you can open this github.com. Okay, you can click on sign up. You can continue with Google if you want. Okay, or I will personally recommend don't connect your Google with this. It's better you create a separate account. The reason is in future you will be connecting your GitHub generally. You know, you deploy your code on Vercel or Netlify or Render. Okay, so you are going to anyways log in everything with GitHub there, because that is what you want to generally you connect with GitHub there. Okay, so it's better you create a separate account. You enter your email. Okay, for example, I'll enter some dummy data, admin@gmail.com. Okay, then you can create a password, then you can create a username, then you can select the country, click on this and create account. After that it will ask you to do some verification as it like, you know, you are not a robot, like that there is some verification that will come, and then your account will be created. Okay, once your account is created, okay, your GitHub account will look like this. Okay, initially it will be empty, of course it is going to be empty, but here you can see this is the main dashboard that will open. So first task is to create a GitHub account. Okay, so I'm noting all the steps here, you guys can do it right now also, later you can try it out. Okay, so create account on GitHub. This is what you have to do, first step. Okay, now once you have created the account, it will look like this. Okay, so I've already guided how to create account. Sign up, you just need to sign up, enter all your details, just like you create your profile on GitHub or you create your profile on Instagram, okay, Facebook, just like that, just like LinkedIn, you create an account. Okay, now here GitHub is now very important, even in job perspective. I'll explain all of it later, like why job perspective wise also, if you're a developer, you are into tech, you should have a GitHub profile. But let me walk you all through the platform, how it looks like. So here this is your dashboard, basically the landing page. Okay, then on the right side, top right, you can see your username. Okay, so when you will create your account on GitHub, you have to choose one username is going to be unique. Okay, like mine is Urvashi29, so that is a unique one. Okay, so let's say if I have Urvashi29, no one else can't use the same username. Okay, it's already taken, so you have to try out based on whatever your name is. Let's say someone name is Siddharth, so you can keep Siddharth. Okay, and then you can try out some data here like this. Okay, this is what you can do. So just, and you have to give your email, so whatever email you will give, so your GitHub will be linked with that. So all those details basically will be visible here, like my name is this, my username is this. Okay, so here if you click on profile, okay, so initially you just need to focus on profile, repositories, okay, and settings. That's it, rest all you can ignore for now. Okay, so if I click on profile, you can see all the profile related details here, like your email and everything will come here. Okay, so firstly let's see this. Okay, in profile here, your main profile, just like, you know, you go to GitHub, you go to LinkedIn and open your profile, so you see your cover photo, you see your image and all your skills, all your abouts, every detail. So profile is exactly like that. Okay, all your details will come here. So here overview, your image, you can update all your images and everything. Okay, your name, you can see all the data over here. Okay, you can edit the profile if you want. If you want to, just like you follow on Instagram, you follow on LinkedIn, you can do all of it here as well. Okay, if you want to bookmark, just like we bookmark or put a product in wish list in a e-commerce, you can star any repository as well. Okay, and repository is nothing but a folder. Okay, now there are a lot of new terms that is involved. Okay, I'll write the steps later. Okay, I'll write all the steps later for you guys. For now, let me just talk about some terms. Let's say repository. Okay, now what is repository? Repository is nothing but a folder. Just like in my laptop, for example, today's, let's say I've created this folder called day one, for example. So here I will put the same folder in my GitHub. So that folder is repository is nothing but a folder which represents your one project. Let's say if you are building one React project, so one repository will represent one project. Okay, but it's not fixed. You can put multiple projects together also, but it depends. Like if you want to make it live, then the process is different. Even in GitHub, you have this concept of GitHub pages. Like if you deploy a project on Netlify or Versala, you have GitHub pages here. So you can, just like you put your code on GitHub now, you can literally host, make it live as well, deploy it as well. Okay, but we'll see all of that part later. But yeah, for now, just imagine, just like in your laptop, you have a folder. Okay, like this is my one folder. Okay, here let's say day one, like this one folder is there. Just like that, you can have multiple folder. Okay, and you can see in my GitHub there are 169 folders. What that means, 169 GitHub repositories are there. Okay, and you can see the tagging. Some are private, some are public. Means public means it is accessible to all. Like if you guys open my profile right now, you can see you all are accessible. Okay, so 169 is there. I think approximately once you might be able to see say 170. So 170 is accessible by you guys, which are public. Okay, but when I say private, private is what only I can see, or if I add some collaborator. Okay, so if I add someone else in this, then they can also access it. Okay, but private you will not see. So for you guys the count will be lesser. Okay, so for me it's 169. For you guys the count will be lesser because you can't see my private repositories. Okay, so this is the main idea here. Okay, then next you have projects. Projects is basically for the organization level. Okay, so complete projects you create, it's like a complete folder where in enterprise level, business level we use it. For now you guys can ignore it. So if any packages we want to use, okay, that we have like npm packages, for now also you can ignore it. Stars is what you bookmark. So if you put in star in any someone's a GitHub repository, just like you wish list any product. Okay, so that is what it is. Okay, like I have starred some of mine only. Okay, so that is what will come here. So this is a main idea. In this, the most important part is your repository basically. Okay, and here you have a button. From here you can create a new repository. I'll guide you through how to do it, but for now just understand the platform. Okay, so here top right you can see your username, your name. Okay, click on profile, this will open. Okay, repositories, what you are going to create, folders, and whatever local you have the folder, the same folder you will put here. And in overview you can literally see everything. You can see which year. So you can see I started in 2018. So from there till here you can see all the contributions clearly. Okay, so whatever contribution has been made, you can see it here clearly. Like I'm into edtech, I'm into instructorship, so I have contribution accordingly. Okay, so like in here I was working as a developer, so you can see my contributions are accordingly. Okay, and also this is the personal account. So like generally, just for information, when you work in an organization, you get their own they generally use GitHub or they use GitLab. Okay, so they will give you access to these GitHub and GitLab with their company email and passwords. Okay, so you will be using that accordingly. So you can see everything here, which year account is created, all the contributions, everything. Okay, so it is recommended if you are creating any GitHub account, make sure you remember all the credentials, everything. Okay, it's not like you created an account and you will delete and you will create a new one. Okay, because everything, like you can see 2018 I created, everything can be tracked here. Okay, so you can see all my 8 years over here. So this is a bit about this. Okay, now here top right corner, so here you can see repositories as well. So if you want to directly go to repositories, okay, you can do that as well. Okay, after this if you guys want to add any organization, like I told you, so either you will have like there is a company, and they want you to, you have a profile now, you want to add you as a contributor to their organization, so you can do that as well. Okay, like I have added myself to some organizations over here. So our organization is like a company. Okay, they have created the organization here. Now they have added contributors like us. Let's say I am an instructor, there are other instructors, so you can do that, but that is again all enterprise level. For now, as a beginner, it's not needed, you can ignore it. Okay, and then quickly I'll click on settings, then I'll remove like close it. Settings is basically your personal information. Okay, so your whatever email you have created your account with, all those information will come. Your bio. Okay, I'm not going to show you all because my personal details are also there, but basic overview, like your name, your bio, your profile picture, or everything you want to change, you can do. You want to change password, you can do that. And with what account, if you have forgot what account or email you used while creating it, you can go to emails and check. Go to settings, and in access you will see the emails. Okay, all the information will come. Now if you want to go and search about someone, you can do it from here. Okay, so let's say my profile is Urvashi29, so that will come. But if I want to go and search about someone else, I can do that as well. Okay, so from just like you go and search in Facebook or Instagram a username of other person, you can do all of it here as well. Okay, so Instagram, Facebook are your social media platform, and this is your code hosting platform. That's the main difference. Okay, so this is a bit about GitHub. So whatever I've taught you initially, just focus on that part. Okay, and gradually once you get comfortable, this happens with everything, right? What, it's a new platform, so these are the important starting points. Once you get comfortable with these, then you can go ahead, explore more in this. Okay, now this is a bit about GitHub. Okay, now we will talk about Git. Now Git setup is also important. Okay, Git setup is important. So just like we created account for GitHub, okay, similarly if I want to work with Git, okay, then I have to create a account, like a setup and all. Like you have to download it. In simple words, you have to download it. Okay, now how to download it? So what I'll do here, just go to Git and click download. Okay, so in my laptop, setups and everything is already done. Okay, so no worries, but I'll show you how to do it. So like GitHub account was already there, but I showed you how to create and what are the important pointers in this dashboard initially. Now here what is happening, Git is, I told you, it's a different thing. So a lot of students, when they are starting out, Git and GitHub, they mix it together. They both are different in a way. Okay, GitHub is a platform. It's a place where you're creating account. Okay, just like you create on any other platform. Git is a way through which you will be able to control your repositories, control your code versions. Okay, so I will be showing you everything, and you need to know Git commands. Okay, now here you can click on download whichever you're using. If you're using Mac, accordingly download Linux. Okay, for Mac you need to install Homebrew. Okay, so I'm using Windows, so of course I'm going to install this. So I've already installed, but still you can just click on it. Okay, and the setup will start. Okay, I'm going to stop it quickly. Okay, it's done. Anyways, that's fine. So install, it is already installed. Okay, so I already have it, so I'm not going to do the setup, but I'll show you guys for sure. So if you go to downloads, you can see the setup has come. You just like you download any other software, like VS Code you download, right? If you are into development, Visual Studio Code. So just double, or any other software you use. Okay, any other editor, just like you use, just like that you double click on it, do next, I agree, next, and the setup is done. Okay, so it will take hardly 2-3 minutes to set up this. And now next is, how will you know that it is installed? Okay, how will you know that it is installed? So you just need to go anywhere in your laptop, right click and see open Git bash here. Just right click here and click on Git bash here. If you are able to see these two options, basically the Git is installed. Okay, so you can even see it right now. If you right click here, you will see these two options will not come if Git is not installed. And once Git is installed, you can see these two options. Okay, so now you all can do the Git setup. So just you need to download, go to Git download. You need to download it from here based on your laptop configuration or system configuration. And once it is downloaded, you just need to do setup, go to downloads, double click on it, the setup part, do next. Okay, I've deleted because I already have the setup. And if you are able to see these two options, means it is installed. Okay, so Git bash, this is nothing but just like you have command prompt. So this is Git, you can call it as a Git command prompt. Okay, in a way. So that is what we need to do. Okay, and let me also do one thing. Let me just write all the pointers here. So whatever we are installing, whatever we are doing, let me just note it here. So you need to create account. Okay, so these are the initial steps you need to follow. Firstly, we need to create an account on GitHub. Next, you have to create or install Git. Okay, and you can just check if that two options are coming, a right click, that means it is installed. Let me just write the steps: Git installation and GitHub. Okay, now once these two steps are done, now we are ready to work with GitHub. Okay, now you just need these two things. Now you are ready to push all your code or put all your code from local to GitHub. Now you're ready for that. Okay, now what are the steps? Now first, next thing what we have to do is we have to do some configuration. Okay, now what is this configuration? This is Git configuration. Okay, so basically what in simple words, what is happening right now? Okay, what is happening right now? In simple words, right now I have my laptop. Okay, and I have account on GitHub. Okay, and I am telling you Git is a mediator. So let me draw a diagram to make it more clear. Okay, so let's say this is my okay, this is my laptop system, or let's say system, computer system or laptop, whatever you use, and I have my GitHub here. Okay, I'm saying I want to store whatever is the local, let's say there's one React project I have. Okay, I want to store this local system code to GitHub. Okay, so I'm saying what is the mediator? Mediator is the Git. Git will help you to do that, first of all. So that's why we did it. So you can imagine GitHub is having their own servers where all the data will go and store. So GitHub is having all the data, okay, where we are putting. So my code is in my laptop. I want to store it on GitHub. Okay, how am I going to store? Through Git, in simple words. Okay, so that is where Git will help me out. That's why we install the Git. Okay, now we have to there are some credentials of GitHub. GitHub has some credentials. Okay, for example, your email and username is always going to be unique. Means whatever email you have created one account with email or with GitHub, you cannot create the same account with email again or with GitHub again. You can't do that. So one GitHub, one email, and one username. So username cannot be repeated, and even your email address is also not repeated. Okay, I'll give you one simple example. Let's say when like this type of issues will come if you deploy your project on Netlify or Vercel or Render now. So you can generally connect with your GitHub. So once you connect, you can see all your repositories code over there. So there Vercel also checks. So whatever email with which you have created the account should be locally set up in your system. Okay, because what will happen now? GitHub is like one time you create the account, you create repository. You just need to do this once. Like yeah, I'll go here new and I can create the repository here. Repository is one folder where I want to push all the code or I want to push all the files. Okay, now then you can just forget it. Then you don't even need GitHub. You can just come to Git, and through Git, you every time I will open my laptop. I have made some changes to my code. I'll push the code to GitHub. Okay, I have made some changes my code. Let's say today I'm covering this, right. I'll be putting PDF and all. So then I'll push this to GitHub. I'll make some changes to this folder basically, and then I'll re-push something to this GitHub. Okay, so in simple words, you are going to push something from your local system to GitHub through Git. So Git configuration need to be done. Your GitHub has to be configured in local system, right? Because otherwise, how will they know which GitHub on which GitHub account they need to push the code? Okay, now you can see there are millions of user of GitHub. Millions of people are using GitHub. Okay, so your laptop or your local system should be configured with your GitHub account. Otherwise, just think about it. Otherwise, how it will know that which GitHub account I need to push this code? In simple words, I have Git because GitHub is a cloud. Now I can log into GitHub with someone else's account as well, in someone else's laptop as well, or someone else can log into GitHub in my laptop. It's a cloud platform. Like you log in into Instagram in your mobile phone. You log into Instagram in your laptop. You log into WhatsApp through your mobile. You can log into WhatsApp through your web WhatsApp in your laptop also. Right. So the point is, I have to configure that this laptop, whatever I'm going to push from this laptop, it should go to which GitHub profile. So that configuration is very important. Okay, otherwise it will never know na which GitHub account I should push my code to. Okay, I hope you guys are getting this part, that why configuration is needed. Okay, so next step is configuration. And configuration, why we are doing it, the reason is pretty simple. My laptop should know which GitHub account they should push the code to. Okay, because I can log in with any GitHub account. It's a cloud platform. I can log in, like I can, like, in your laptop you can log in with so many Gmail accounts. Let's say I logged in with 5 Gmail accounts. Okay, so the same way you can log in with as many GitHub accounts you want. So your laptop will never know, your local system will not know. So that's why you have to do the configuration. And configuration is done on two bases: email and username. Okay, the reason is email and username is always going to be unique. One GitHub will have one username, one email, which cannot be used in any other GitHub account. Okay, I hope this point is clear, that why we are going with configuration. Okay, so firstly I gave you guys an idea what is GitHub, what is Git. Then we created a GitHub account, we installed Git. Okay, then I'm telling you next step is configuration, but why we have to do. So let's do it quickly. Before this, you guys can clearly see this is your PPT. Okay, so let me quickly read through it before we do the start with the configuration part. Okay, because after configuration starts, it's all commands that we have to remember. Okay, so what is a Git and GitHub? So this is GitHub. It's an open source solution. Okay, for hosting your code online on your cloud system, cloud hosting platform. Okay, and open source means free to use. Wherever you see now open source means it's free to use, open to everyone. Okay? Or you can say open to anyone, everyone. Okay, now what is Git and what is GitHub? So Git is a version control system, means you are able to control the version of your system. Okay, for example, today I push some code. I'll show you whatever I'm saying. I'll show you. So today I'll push some code from my laptop to GitHub account. Tomorrow I'll push some code from my local to my GitHub. Okay, again a day after. So I can literally go and check on which date, what time, what I pushed. You can literally keep a track of everything there. You can do that. Okay, that's why I'm calling. And if you, let's say today I push some code, okay, and but I want to go back to the previous version of it, I can do that also. Okay, I'll show you all everything. Okay, I'll be showing you, demonstrating you with everything. So that lets you manage and keep track of your code's source code history. Means you are able to track which date what you pushed, what file you made changes. Okay, and if you want to go back to a previous version, you can do all of it here. Okay, and GitHub is a cloud-based hosting service that lets you manage Git repository. So whatever repository you create, it helps you manage that. It helps you host your repositories. Okay, and GitHub is a code hosting platform for version control and collaboration. So now this point is very important. Okay, after this I'm going to talk about this only. So we have seen GitHub with one perspective, that I can push some code to GitHub. Okay, this is one perspective we have seen. So next perspective is how it is useful in enterprise, or how it is useful in development. So that is where I'll discuss collaboration point. Okay, so it lets you and others work together on the project from anywhere. It includes GitHub Essentials like repository. So I'll be discussing all these points as we go ahead. Okay, I'll be discussing all these pointers. Now, what we will see now, firstly, next step is to configure. Okay, so setup is everything here. Create account. So setup, anyways, I have already written here. You can create account. I have added the link. You can install GitHub. Okay, that I have added here. Then you can create a GitHub repository. Okay, then you can add your local code to GitHub. Use git bash commands, means you have to do the configurations. Okay, and then you can push the code. Okay, now before this is the first step. Okay, so this is all I have written. This is like an overview, but what you have to do, I'm going to demonstrate one by one. Okay, so once we have done GitHub and Git setup, now next step is to configure. Okay, so what you need to do is anywhere, just right click here, click on git bash. Okay, so you can consider it like a git bash, like a, Git has their own command prompt. You can put it like that. Okay, so firstly we have to run. So what I'm going to show you is the git command. So this is the setup part. Okay, so all these commands you need for the setup. Let me create a heading here, and also I'll create a note of it. Let me go here. I'll say git commands setup. Setup, why am I putting setup word team? Because this is one time. Okay. And let's say today I have my laptop, I did the setup and all. Okay, after 2 years I'm changing my laptop, so you have to again do the setup of GitHub, right? So GitHub is the setup is generally one time, or until unless you literally go and change your system or reboot your system. Otherwise you don't have to, it is just a one time process. Okay, so first thing you have to run is git init. So these are the commands. Init means initialize. Okay, initializing means you are initializing the git here. Okay, so what is the impact of it? If you go here, you can see let's push this to GitHub. Okay, or I can do one thing, I'll just copy some folder from my system. Okay, and then I'll push that, I'll show you how to push that to the GitHub. All right, so this is one folder I could find. Okay, this Netflix clone that I created with HTML and CSS. So you guys can see this. This is what I'll show you how to push this to GitHub. Okay, so this is what we are going to do. So if I double click on it, so this is what I have created it simply with HTML and CSS. Okay, so this is what I'll show you, demonstrate. Okay, for now this configuration you can do it from anywhere. Okay, now here one thing is important, I have closed it. So what you want to put on GitHub? So you want to put these two things, this is first step, or you want to put GitHub clone. So what you have to put on GitHub, based on that you have to open the git bash. Okay, for example, if you want to put these two on GitHub, okay, then I'll open git bash here. So you have to open git bash in the place which files and folders you want to put. So if I want to put these two, then I'll open it here, but I don't want to push it here. I'll go to Netflix clone. Okay, I'll right click. So I don't want to push these two things. I want to push only git Netflix clone. Okay, so I will go inside this folder and then I'll open git bash. So this clarity is very important. Okay, that what you want to, so whatever files and folders you want to upload, let's say from here you can see I want to put these two things. Only Netflix clone means only these two things. Whatever you have in Netflix clone. Netflix clone, I have these two things, right? One file and folder. So here you should open git bash. Okay. So what you need to do in setup, you have to run git init. Okay, just run git init. Init means initialization. Okay, means your git is initialized. And what happened basically, if you click on view and hidden folders, basically .git folder is created. So this .git folder is going to keep a track of everything, what you pushed on which date, what is happening, all those things related to Git will come here. Okay, so whatever we are going to do in this GitHub, okay, you can do it here. So this is going to track everything for this folder. That's why I told you it's important you understand where you have to open, what you have to push on GitHub. Okay, so first step is configuration. Configuration is one time, and if you don't run this git init, this folder is now not created. Okay, so this is the first step. Every time you have to start doing anything in repository or locally, you have to run git init. Okay, then you have to configure email. Make sure you are putting the correct email. Okay, I'll actually share you guys with one personal experience I literally had yesterday. Okay, I was trying to push my code from local to my GitHub, and then I was connecting that. I'm into web development, so I was connecting my website, trying to deploy my website on Vercel. Okay, but I was getting error that there is some issue with deployment. Email is not recognized, and I was confused because in my local, my GitHub is already connected and everything. Still, it was showing me this. Then I checked my command. Even I can show you guys. Then I checked my command again, and I realized my email was wrong. Okay, I'll show you guys. So this is like something I faced literally yesterday. See, so I must be demonstrating it to the, since setup is one time, I have done the setup, but I keep on taking these sessions on GitHub. Okay, simply. So maybe while demonstrating, I must have messed my spelling of my email, and so that's why when I was trying to push my code to GitHub, it was not happening. Okay, and then Vercel was showing me error like there is a you're trying to push from a different email, not email but from a different user. It never says email, it says user. Okay, then I debug and I realized that maybe while demonstrating it to students somewhere, I may, by mistake typed my email wrong. Okay, so it's all got messed up. So that's why it's important that so if you click on upward arrow, you can see all your previous commands. Okay, so yesterday only I kind of faced this problem. So make sure whatever you're entering, the spelling is proper. Okay, so what is the command to configure? Okay, I have added all the commands here. Okay, but let me just write here git config. Okay, whatever you're configuring. Let's say I'm configuring, let's say, first of all, let's configure email. Okay, email is what you should configure first. Global means globally in my local system means from next time. What is the use of global? Next time when I try to log in with GitHub, or whenever I'll try to open Git bash and try to push some code to GitHub, I don't have to mention my this configuration again. So I'm doing globally in my laptop. I'm doing the setup. Okay, in my complete laptop. So global, and then you can mention whatever you want to do. Let's say user.email. Okay, and space in quotes you can mention your, let's say mine is, I'm not going to run this. Okay, but I'll show you. See, I must have messed up some spelling like this while demonstrating it to other students in one of my lectures. Okay, and that impacted my deployment. Okay, so now you can see. So you just need to run and press enter. Okay, once you press enter, this configuration is done. Also, if you want to confirm that the configuration is correct or not, you can just run the command till here and press enter. Okay, so initially you guys have to put the email because I already have added the email, so I'm not going, I'm going to just check. Now in a similar way, next thing you have to configure is your name. Okay, so you just need to put user.name. Okay, like mine is Urvashi29, so I'll put Urvashi29. Okay, and press enter. Now I will not press enter, I have already configured, but I'll run this much. Okay, so that I can show you. So you can confirm that which email or which username has been added. Okay, so this is one time process, and if you just make sure spellings and everything is perfectly fine. So my this email and this username with which I created my GitHub, I have configured. I already configured and now I'm checking. So this is how you can check. Okay, so but the only time you are configuring, this is one time, you have to just do this much and press enter and configuration is done. Okay, so next time you can come and confirm that it is correct or not. Now it is correct, email is also correct, or username is also correct. So you have to run these two commands. Okay, so this is one time process. That's it. So setup part is only this portion. Okay, now next thing is how to configuration is done. Next we will see how to push code from or anything like how to create a repository and push inside it. Okay, now we will see this step. Means how to create a GitHub repository. Now this is what we are going to see now. Okay, and how can I push code to it? Okay, through these commands. What are the commands for that? So now you can come here to your GitHub. So in GitHub, so this is the same you have to follow every time. You click on new. Okay, so I'll create a new repository. So one repository represents your one whatever Git bash you will open, one folder. Okay, so now it depends what you want to put in that folder. I want to push only Git, let's say Netflix clone, so I'll push only that part. Okay, I want to push these two, so I'll create a Git bash here. So you can push anything. Okay, you can push multiple projects. Okay, but real time generally you have one project, one repository. Okay, so here I'll give a repository name, let's say sample, or ideally keep the correct name. Let's say this is Netflix clone, so let me keep it that Netflix clone. Okay, so this is available. Okay, in your within your repositories it will check is this name available. Yes, then description you can add, it is optional. Okay, so here you can choose you want to make it public or private. If you make it private, no one can see it until and unless you go and add them as a collaborator. Okay, I'll show you how to add a collaborators anyways. Then if you're making it public, anyone can access, they cannot contribute to it. Okay, but at least they can see the code and everything. You can just ignore those templates and all. Okay, readme file don't ever add it from here, we'll add it from local. Okay, what is readme, I'll explain. Git ignore and everything, no need to add anything. Okay, don't add anything from here. Just click on Git repository, just give the name and the public and private, that's it, and this will open. So your repository is created. Now these are the initial commands. So if you have a GitHub repository, this is what you have to run on your command line. Okay, first of all you get the initial code, so that's not a problem. Initially you get the code, so not a problem, but with the time you'll get a hang of it. So in the same place, so you can just see this step. You can see here I'm in this same folder, Netflix clone. So this I want to push to GitHub. Okay, these two folders. So what I'll do here, so you can follow these commands. Okay, you can see git init I've already ran, that's one time. Okay, now what is this git add readme? readme, they are saying that readme file is already here and then you're adding it. But you can run git add, git space add. What is me? This means you're adding these files. So from this, what you want to add? Okay. So I want to add CSS folder. So I'll say git add CSS. That's it. Okay. But let's say you don't want to add. You want to add all the files. So just run git space add space dot. Okay. So if you run git space add space dot, then all the files will be added. But if you run git space add and you did CSS, so then only CSS folder is added. Okay. So if you feel like you have to add everything, okay, then you can just go with this git add dot. If you feel like you want to add specific folder, specific file, then you can do git add and that file. Okay, that is how you can do it. Okay, now what is the next step? So you have done add. So this add readme is nothing but like git add and the file name. Okay, just like I have showed you CSS folder. So they are assuming I have some readme file here. Okay, so which I have not added. I'll talk about it later. The next command is commit. So these commit is very important. Okay, these commit messages are actually what is helping you to keep track which date what you pushed. Okay, I'll show you guys one example. For example, if I go here and if I click on repositories, so here let's go to this chain or let's go to this HTML CSS bootcamp PV. Okay, so here you can click on any repository basically. Okay, so this is how it looks like when I'll push the code. This is how it will look like. Okay, so you can see the branch. Okay, you can literally see what folders are here, okay, and you can see commits here. So I just want to show you guys commit right now. Commit is actually that message that is keeping a track what date what changed. So you can see September 1, you can see on this repository I did the first commit. So this first commit is the message and this is the file I have added. Now next is, let's say so this is the commit message, like added day 2 means I've added day 2 on which date and who committed. Okay, so let's say 4 people are working on it. You can see which person committed what code, so you can keep a track. So there is no blame game here. Which person pushed what code, what date, you can keep a track of everything. How it is tracked? Through git messages. Okay, so these are called git messages. So they should be relevant. Okay, if it's an initial comment, you can put git commit -m. M means message, first commit. So first commit, why we keep it? Because it means that first time you're committing something to this repository. Okay, so commit is that like a temporary, you can imagine, it's a permanent message that will get stored and no one can remove, no one can vanish these messages. Okay, now next thing is git branch. This is a command to create a new branch. Okay, so you can see by default here master is coming. So master is one branch. What is a branch I'll discuss later, but you can see it's so whatever is going, it's going on master right now. Okay, but generally we switch it to main. So this is how you can create a new branch. Okay, so branch we will see very much later. Okay, branch M means this is how I'm creating it main. Okay, so initially they have mentioned, so let's change it. So now you will see earlier it was master, now it will change to main. See, so by default I am saying main should come. So earlier it was master, now it has become main. So on main branch everything will go and store. Okay, then next step is so now you have done one thing. You have configured that which GitHub account my code will go, or my folder, all the local files will go. Now next question is which repository it should go. Means I have so many folders in my laptop. I have so many repositories. Okay, I have so many folders. Okay, I have so many repositories. Just think about it. Okay, which repository will be connected with this folder? That this command decides. So you are saying git remote add. So you are remotely adding the origin. Origin means this GitHub. You can see the same link. So you are giving the origin access to this repository. Now this point is very important. Okay, git remote means, so one thing is clear, like when I did configuration, one thing is clear, which GitHub I need to push the code. Okay, that is clear. While I configured email and username. Now question is which folder of my localhost need to be linked with what GitHub account. Now that is also important. Okay, so that is this command. So you're remotely connecting this repository with this folder. So you just need to copy. One more thing, your keyboard commands will not work here. You have to use your mouse. Okay, like you can't do Control V here inside this git bash. So you have to use the mouse. Okay, and then press enter. So now you can see this access is done. Okay, the local, this folder is connected with this one. Okay, now last command. So every time you make the changes, now you have to run git add, git commit, git push. Okay, so this is one time. This is one time. This is initially when you're creating the repository. Initially, you have to give the access. So this is one time command. This is one time command. Git branch is one time. Like initially, you are pushing everything to me. But every time you are making change, git add, git commit, git push, these three are fixed. Okay, I'll show you. If I'm after this, I'll make some changes to this code, and then I'll show you how to push the changes. Okay, and then you have to run this command. So you have to run git push -u origin. So you are setting the origin. Okay, so you are saying that I am pushing everything to the origin branch, which is main. Okay, git push -u origin. Okay, that this is one time. Now listen to me carefully. Once I run it, this will be pushed, but in your case, when you're doing the setup for the first time, a pop-up will come. Okay, I'll show you. GitHub login pop-up. This is again one time. Okay, uh, I'll show you guys here. So like this, a pop-up is going to come. Just see. Okay, so this will come only one time. It's a part of your setup one time. So when you try to do git push -u origin main, this one time, only one time of your GitHub, that's it. This step will come. Okay, and if I enter it right now, it will push. Okay, because I have already configured. But in your case, I'm just telling you, when you run this command, this is going to come. Okay, a pop-up is going to come. Now why this pop-up is coming, I'll show you from here. So if I go to control panel, you know, if you guys know, in control panel you can do all your credential manager. You can manage all your credentials here. If I go here, I can do credential manager. Okay, so you can click on manage Windows credentials. Okay, so you can see. So if now at this point, I want you to go and see before running the push command. Before running this command, I want you to go and see here. If you see generic, there is web and Windows. Click on Windows. There is a generic credentials. If you expand it, okay. So when you do this step, when this you try to push, a pop-up is going to come. Basically, you're going to store your GitHub credentials in your local system. In simple words. So what you're doing in control panel, if you see, like, you don't have to come and manually do it. You don't have to come and do manually. No need to do it. Automatically it will come and store. But before running this command for the first time, I want you to come and see this step. Okay, so that you can see right now GitHub is not visible here in generic credentials. But the moment you run this command, a pop-up will come. You click on sign in with GitHub one time. That's it. And then these credentials will reflect. So your email. So this is how your GitHub account. This is a part of setup. This is one-time process. This is how your GitHub credentials will come and store here. So next time when you try to push something to this any repository, you don't have to configure. This is a one-time process. So in my laptop, I've already done, of course. So now if you come and refresh, now you will see both the files, see index.html and CSS, index.html and CSS, both are coming here. Both are coming. Okay, so I don't have to worry on this part now. They both are coming now. Okay, so whatever you want to see in that place, open git bash and run these commands. Okay, now you can see one commit. Okay, you can just come here. So commit, you know, I was explaining everything. Commit I did 6 minutes ago. So commit message command, this command I ran 6 minutes ago. This command. Okay, after this I was explaining all of it. You can see. So if you click on it, you can see in first commit, this is a message name, who committed, I only committed. You can see my profile and you can see what has been added. Okay, this was first commit, so complete folders are going to come. And we created a new branch, right? We created the main branch. So you can see main branch as well. This is the main branch. Okay, this is your main branch. So if you click on all the branches, right now there is no branch. What are branches? I'll explain it. Okay, no worries. We'll go on that topic. For now, we just did simple thing, how we can push our code from local to our GitHub. Also, you guys will see this option of creating new file, upload file. Don't do it. Don't never upload or create a file from here. You can never do it. Okay. Now let me show you guys. So you can see whichever file I have pushed in that commit, like while committing, whichever file, let's say I've made some changes in CSS, and then I added a commit message. So while that commit and when you're committing and pushing some of your code, so what file you have made changes, you can see that as well here. Okay, so now you can see, so these are your basic commands. So when every time you create a new repository, you have to do just this pop-up of GitHub will come once. Okay, so that is also part of your setup. Okay, now if I recall, okay, now let me tell you one thing, like a diagrammatical format, also why we don't push anything from here. Okay, why don't we upload anything from here? I can create a new file, upload, but never do it. Okay, always try to do everything from your local. I'll show you. Okay, so I think it has opened. Yeah, so I am keep on using this term of push. I'm using this term a lot. Now why am I using it? Let me show you. So right now what is happening, let me change the color. So right now what is happening, I have my folder called Netflix clone. Okay, I have a GitHub, okay, where I want to put it. Okay, basically my laptop system. Okay, I want to push it. So to do it, now you guys can clearly see, to do this I used Git. Okay, now whenever you're trying to put something from your local system to your GitHub, that's called push command. Push, just remember that's called push, and that is exactly I have ran push command. Okay, when you're trying to put something from your laptop to GitHub, that's called push. Okay, and when you're trying to get something, I'll show you how to do it. Okay, we will be going ahead and seeing it, how when you're trying to get something from GitHub to GitHub to your local system, means I'm trying to get something from my GitHub to my local system, that's called pull. Okay, that's called pull. So push is fixed, you go from local system to your GitHub, that's called push command. And pull command is when you're trying to get something from your GitHub to Netflix or local system. Now why am I telling you not to do it? So just remember, why am I asking you not to do anything from here? Because if now my local system, whatever code I have here, okay, is in sync with this one, right? So whatever I have here, it is in sync, and next time I'll change any code in my laptop, because code where the code change will happen in your laptop, right? So whatever changes I will make, I'll just push it to GitHub. I will do it, like I'll show you, we will do it right now. But if you make any change on GitHub, then every time you have, like in this case, when you're individually working, you have to do push command. Okay, so basically here if you go, so what is happening, there are two files here, one is CSS folder and one is index.html. okay, what I'm trying to say is you have two files. So your GitHub also have two files, because whatever locally you had, you have made the changes. But let's say you upload a file here called contact.html or any other file, let's say contact.html. So what is happening, your GitHub is ahead of your local, means there is one extra file on GitHub which local system cannot recognize. So next time you will try to push any code on this, it will not happen. Okay, it will ask you to pull the code first. Why? Its reason is very simple, because your GitHub has three files, your local has two files, because you have created some file from here, okay, which you should not do. We run git pull command, it is very useful when multiple people are working on it. Okay, individually if you are working, there is no point of running git pull as such. Okay, so right now when you're pushing something to the GitHub, okay, so when you're going from local to GitHub, that's called push. And when trying to extract something from trying to get the code from GitHub to Netflix, that's called pull. Okay, now why am I saying not to upload any file from GitHub? The reason is your GitHub will be ahead of your local, and generally in real time we prefer that we put your code from local to GitHub. Okay, now I will show you, I don't even need GitHub. I don't need GitHub now. My repository is created, this repository region is already connected here. Okay, so if I make any change to this code, let me do it. Let me create a new file here. Okay, I'll create a copy of this, and I'll rename it to contact, for example. That's it. I've created, now there are three files. Okay, now there are three files. So I made some change in my GitHub, in my local. So now in local, because just think about it, now changes will always happen in local, because that is where you're working on code. So don't, firstly never do this create files and everything from here. Even if you by chance doing it, make sure then you have to run git pull and then you can push. Okay, because just remember, whenever you're trying to push something from local to GitHub, okay, they both should be in sync. and whatever changes you have made only from local to GitHub we do it. Okay, so here don't do this, don't do uploading any, don't try to upload anything from, let's keep this code here. So there, don't try to put something from here. You can do it, it's allowed, but then it will give you error and it will ask you to firstly run, do git pull. If you run git pull, then you will get whatever code is here in GitHub, and then that you will get in local system. Okay, so that's why, yeah, because it's very simple, and every time you are going to make changes in your local only, from here only you will make some changes to your code. So you do it, you do changes, you change your code here. Okay, then you push it to GitHub. So we always want our GitHub and code, local code, to be in sync. Changes, if have to be made need to be made in local, so that every time I can just push the code. Okay, so now let's say I've made some changes. I'll open git bash here again. Okay, so I'll say git status. Okay, so now you can see, if you run git status, it tells you what changes have been made. It will tell you. So you can say contact.html, it's a new file which is added. So you should run this command. So I'll say, now there are two options. I can do git add dot all the files, or I can just say contact.html, whatever is the file. So now this file is added. Now since I have added a new file, I have to commit. So if, let's say, if you have existing code which you have already put it on GitHub, now you're making changes to it, just remember these are the commands you have to run. Git status, you have to check the status. Git add, git commit, and let's say contact.html. Okay, and you just need to run git push. So you have committed, even you can come and check the status. So it will say, see, so you can see your branches are ahead of origin main by one commit. Means one commit you have made here, but not, it is not pushed to GitHub. So now I'll say git push. So only once you need git push hyphen u origin, the branch name main. Okay, otherwise next time you have made some changes to your code, you just need to run git status, check the status, git add, git commit, git push. Okay, it will take some time to remember these commands, but as you go ahead, you will get a hang of it. See, whatever I have made, it has been done. Git push has done. Okay, now I will come and refresh, and you will see contact.html will also come. See, contact.html is coming here. Now you can see what, and while adding this file, while adding this something new in this, whatever commit message has come, you can see, and even you can come and check two commits. So you can keep a track what has been added at what time. So 16 minutes ago this I added. Now if I click on this is my second commit message, right? This is the commit message. Git add added contact.html, and that is what you can see. So this new file I have added, which is correct. I have added this file. Okay, so this is how you can re-push something which you have already done. So I have already pushed something to this GitHub repo. Now I can make the changes in local, and then again I can push it to GitHub. Okay, if you try to do something, try to add something directly to GitHub, okay, not through these commands, not from local, like directly you're uploading a file here, then what will happen, your local and your GitHub is not in sync. Then you have to do pull. You can, I mean, that's not a problem. Then you have to do pull, and then you can push the code. Okay, so then you create a new file here, okay, later on, and then you can push it again. So this is fixed. Going from local system to GitHub, that is always push. And I will show you, don't worry, git clone, git pull, all these commands I will tell you, like which situation you do the pull. But from when you're trying to get something from GitHub to local, that is your pull. So these are the terms. Okay. So I hope git push is clear. Okay, so now let me recall all the commands we have seen. Okay, so I will write all of it here. So here I've added one pointer, like, GitHub pop-up will come during the setup for the first time when you're trying to push for the first time from your local to GitHub. Okay, so how to push code or folder, or I'll say push first time. So firstly, you will create a GitHub repo. This is the first step, GitHub repo. After that, you will run these commands. So first command is going to be git init. Okay, that is initializing your GitHub. Then git add, and there are two options, either on git.add or everything is added, or if you want to add a specific file, you can do that, file or folder name. After that, you have this option of adding git commit. Okay, I hope you guys have realized commit messages are so important, that in commit messages you will know who pushed the code, what they change, what changes have been made, what file, and on what date, everything, right? Then you do git branch. If you want to change the branch, okay, by default master will also work. There is no issue. But generally we consider main as our source branch. Okay. Then git next we are going to run git remote add origin. Okay. Now what is this is basically you have to connect your local folder with your GitHub repo. So I'll just put a link here. GitHub link will come. Repo link. Okay. And lastly, you need to run git push hyphen u origin and whichever branch you are in. Okay, let's say you are in main and let's say you didn't change to main, you are in master only, then put master. Okay, so these are the commands you will run for the first time you're pushing something to GitHub. Okay, and only one time, just one time when you're first time pushing something from your local to your GitHub, a pop up will come after this. You have to set the credentials, and I've already mentioned what is the importance of it. Okay, now, next, let's say you have pushed the code, you have made the changes. Then, after making changes, every time you check the status first. Okay, what has changed? Then, after that, you can run git add and, of course, file name or dot. Okay, then git commit. Okay, commit message again, whatever. So, every time you're trying to commit or you're trying to push to GitHub, you have to mention where you're trying to commit. Okay, then next you will do git push. That's it. Okay, so origin main setup has already been done, so you just need to do git push. That's it. Okay, this is what we do here. So these are the commands. Okay. Now we will talk about next important thing, which is readme file. Okay, so we have seen push, we have seen these basic commands. Next, I am going to talk about readme file. Okay. Now, what is readme file? Now, readme file is basically going to tell you about this repository. Okay, so this is going to tell you about repository. Okay, before I go there, let me take one more example. Okay, if I go to let's say I'll go to some of my session. Okay, just to show you guys how many commit messages and which this repository when I created everything you can see. Okay, so here these are the folders. So you can see I made 27 commits on this. Okay, with 27 times I have tried to push something to this repository. Okay, and in every commit what date what has been changed you can see, and you can see commit messages has to be clear. Since I'm into training part, so I've added this. So let's say I'm developing something, then I add whatever feature I've added, I add that. Okay, so this commit messages are very important. Okay, now coming to the readme file you will see here. If I go to any repository, okay, so readme file will tell you what is this about. For example, let's see if I have added readme here. Yeah, so you can see, so here I've added some readme file and I've added this message here. Okay, so readme file tells you what this repository is about. Okay, so let's say if it's a React project or it's an XJS or any Angular, there is an initial setup you need to do. You need to clone the repo and all that. Okay, so you can include all of it, all that part you can include here. Okay, so how to create this? So if you remember when I was initially doing the setup, okay, initially while I was doing the setup, I was able to see add readme file. Okay, when you create a new repository, basically you have this option of adding new repo, new readme, right here. This, if you enable it, readme file is added. But I told you, don't prefer not to add anything from GitHub, because then if you add on GitHub locally, it is not present. So you have to do git pull and then get the latest code. Okay, all of that part. But now what I'm trying to say here is we will add it from here, from local. Okay. Okay, so what I did in my laptop locally, I had one file. Okay, so I will just copy it from there. So here you can see this README file is here. Okay, and you can double click on it. It's a basically .md file. .md file is one of this, like you have .pptx, document, right? Just like that, you have this another file over here. Okay, which is going to be your .md file, which we generally use in GitHub. So in this file you mention what need to be added here. Okay, so this will tell you like what this, like right now this I have added Netflix. So what I'll do, I'll shift it to Netflix. Okay, so now you can see my readme file is here in this Netflix clone folder. Okay, here you can see. Okay, so I can do one thing, I can open VS Code from here. I'll say code dot. Okay. So in VS Code, this .md file, readme.md file will open. Okay. And there I can simply make the changes. So now you can see in VS Code, it has opened. Okay. So since I created the copy of this, okay, so this is already there. Okay. So let me just change it to, like this is a Netflix clone built with HTML and CSS. Okay, so this is what I'll add here in my README file, and I'll save it. Okay, and I'm going to close it. Now, since I've made some changes, so I'll go to git bash. Okay, so just remember the commands we have seen here whenever you are making change to the existing one. So here we have to run. Okay, I already had it open, but anyways, I'll close it. I'll say git status. Okay, then I'm going to create. So you can see that a new file has been added. Okay, so if something has been updated, that everything will come. Even if you're changing once, just adding one space to a file, now that change will also come. So git add whatever you have changed. Let's say read me. Just make sure the spelling is correct. Okay, read me file I have added. Now this is the time I've added. Now I have to add the commit message. Okay, you can use upward arrow and go to the previous one, and you can just added readme file, readme.md file. Okay, so whatever you have done, genuinely just put it. Okay, that is how commit message will help you to track everything. Okay, and then you can just do git push. Okay, because when you are pushing it for the first time, then you need complete commands. Otherwise, you just need to, because the region is already set, right? So now you just need to run git push and the code will be pushed. Okay. So we'll wait here. Yeah. So now you can see it is doing it. So changes has, see, to this repo changes has been made. Now I'll refresh here and see the changes. Okay. See, readme file has been added. Okay. So readme file is added and you can close this. Okay. Now we have done one more commit. So now you can see readme file here and this is the commit, and even you can go here and check when I did what commit on which date. Okay. And whatever has been added, you can go and check everything, commit history as well. Okay. And there is still one branch which is main. Okay. All right, now let's see how things work in real time. So this is something, you can just create and share it with others. Okay. Before this, I'll just quickly explain one more thing. Let's say if I go to settings, okay, if I go to pages, you can deploy. If you're into web development, then only this part will apply. Okay, if you're into web development, only then you can see. Let's say you are into web development and you have pushed the code. Okay, there are few rules you have to follow, like source file should be indexed.html. Then once source file is index.html, then all the linking has to be proper. Okay, then you can deploy it here also if you want. Okay, so if I click on branch, go to pages, settings, go to pages and click on the branch and click on save. Okay, after few seconds the live page, okay, live deployed link of that will come. But I'm into web development, so generally I have used it or demonstrated it for web development. Maybe it can be used for others. Okay, but yeah, for web development you can do. So there are few rules. Okay, they just remember, like, my, if you guys have observed, if I click on this code, you can see all the files here. So my source file is index.html. Okay, and I've done the proper linking with the CSS and all. So in few seconds it will come. So here this will come. Okay, this will host your code and website, just like you see na Amazon.com like website like that. So you'll get a live link like that. Okay. So yeah, so you can see it is live. See Netflix, this one. If I give you guys this link now, if I give you guys this link, see my project is live. So this is the project, Netflix clone project I created. So you can see this is live. If I copy this, now you all can access it. Okay, so you can do it with GitHub pages. This is GitHub pages. So if you have a website, if you want to deploy it, you can do it using GitHub pages as well. Okay, but this is just extra. I was saying, if you have a web development, this is just for your extra knowledge. Okay, these are called GitHub pages. Okay, I'm just noting it here. GitHub pages. Okay. And this is going to be this will give you deployed link for your website. Okay. So this is what you have here. Now, next we are trying to understand, this is, individually you can work on. Now, how things work in real time. So that clarity is very important. Okay. How, if you remember collaborators point. So, and because at the end of the day, things are going to work well in real time. Okay. So how things work, we will try to understand that now. So let's say there is a project. Okay, so how things work. So now we will discuss this point, this collaboration point, how collaboration is possible and you can work on a project from anywhere. Okay, so this is the point I'm going to discuss. Okay, and we are going to see all the some git clone, how to fork, how to create multiple branches. If you guys have heard these terms and maybe for that reason you might be attending it, so I just want to make it clear, all of it is going to come. Okay, so how to pull the code, how to clone, how to fork, how what is the meaning of fork and cloning, and then how to create multiple branch, how to switch between branches, how to merge, everything I'll cover. Okay, so as we go ahead, so we have seen the basics now. Okay, now we will try to understand how things works in real time. Okay, so for example, in a real time, there is one project. Okay, there is one project has come called, let's say, e-commerce. Okay, I'll take a very basic example. Let's say e-commerce. You can think of anything, e-commerce, for example. Okay, now here what is happening? Let's say there is one developer one, D means developer. Okay, developers, D means developer. So real time, how things works. Okay, that I'm trying. So you can replace, this with mobile application, whatever type of tech stack you guys work with. Okay, one more thing, you can put any tech stack here. If there is no restriction, here you can put any tech stack. You work with Java, you can keep Java code. You work with C++, okay, whichever code tech stack you work with. You work with Python, you work with web development related, you work with mobile. Everywhere we use basically GitHub only. Okay, so whichever domain you guys come with, the mobile development, everything will come. Okay, all the tech stack you can put C, C++, everything can be added here. Now, considering this, I have a team of developers. Okay, and there is one team lead. TL means team lead. Okay, let me write it only. Team lead. Team lead is team generally a head. Okay, he's the head of the team. Okay, now what is happening, there is one project, there is one, because there is one git project, okay, to the client. Now there is a client. Okay, client is basically the entity or the person or the organization for whom we are building the project. Okay, I am building a website, let's say e-commerce. You can think of any application you're building. Okay, for the client, this applies everywhere. Okay, I am just taking one e-commerce application example. You can think of any domain, and you can think of any type of tech stack. You can think of Python, you can think of GenAI, you can think of LLM, anything you can think of. Okay, whichever domain basically you guys belong to, you can think of that. It applies everywhere. Okay, I'm just taking e-commerce as an example. So in e-commerce, you have so many pages to be created. Now to a client, I will deliver one website, right? One complete website having a lot of pages like home page, contact page, product detail page. So I will be delivering one thing to the client. Okay, now here what is happening, so let's say developer one, I have assigned, you have to develop product page. Okay, let me change the color. Okay, this I'm just teaching you this point with a storyline. Okay, and then I'll conclude why I taught you this. Okay, so because this will give you a complete clarity of the next topic that I want to talk about. Okay, so here let's say I have, this person is going to develop product page. Okay, this person is going to work on the landing means the home page, the first page that opens when you open amazon.com, for example. Okay, this person is going to work on, let's say, about page, and this person is going to work on contact. Okay, you can also think of it's a mobile application. So similarly, or if you are working on some Java project, so in Java you are developing backend APIs. So let's say one person is working on to get the data or product data API, one person is working on get the about page API, one person is working on getting the contact information API. So whatever domain you guys are working on, whatever tech stack, just replace this example with yours. Okay, that's why I'm giving some e-commerce as a generic domain so that you all can relate. Tech stack, instead of website, you can think of mobile, you can think of building API, you can think of building UI with any tech stack. Okay, so there are products, a product page. Okay, this is the developer one in a team. This is one team. Okay, this person is working on product page, this person is working on landing page, this person is working on about page, and this person is working on contact page. Okay, they all are working individually. Okay, but to my client, I have to deliver one complete project. Right? Do you guys agree? To the client, I can't say, the let me give you product page today, let me give you landing page. Okay. I have to deliver one complete project, or I have to deliver one complete website. Okay. But one person never works on a project. There are team that works on. Okay. So how GitHub is helping you to work in collaboration. Okay. That is what we are going to understand for now. How that is helping you out. So real time, what happens? So, okay, first of all, let's take an example. Very good example we have is this lockdown. Okay, COVID happened, lockdown happened. Why these IT companies were still running and there was a boom in it. Okay, that time, so even everyone was thinking of switching from tech, non-tech to tech and all that, right? Because there was a good boom in IT at that time. Okay, and how these people were able to collaborate and work because they all were work because of GitHub, and they were able to work remotely because of that. Okay, when I say work remotely means I can work from anywhere. Why? Because in real time, generally you have technical manager, you have a lot of designation, like there is a junior developer, senior developer, then you have team lead, then you have project managers, then you have technical managers, and so on. Okay, like that you have the hierarchy. So now let's say these all are mix of senior developers and developers, and there's a team lead. Team lead is generally the person who is leading the team and taking care of it. Sometimes team lead can also be a technical manager, team lead can be a product manager and all. Okay, so this person is leading. So how they work, how they are able to work from anywhere. Let's say this person is working from USA, for example. This person is working from Bangalore. Okay, this person is working from Chandigarh, let's say. Okay, and this person is working from Pune. Let's take an example. They all are working from different cities and different countries. Okay, but how they all are able to deliver one complete project to client? Because they all were able to collaboratively work on a project. So real time, what happens when you have a team? Okay, everyone is working. Even if you go to office also, na, if you are going to office, let's say, anyways you are going to work individually there. You will be assigned some tickets and then you have to work on it. So let's say this person is working, so I will create a different branch for this person. So there is one branch you guys have seen. Okay, so if I go here, you can see main branch. So main is what team lead or the higher management will have access to. Okay, I'm telling you what happens in real time. Okay, so generally your team lead or above higher management will have access to the main branch. Okay, because that is what we deliver to the client as complete project, because that is what we have to deliver to the client. That main is going to be the final main. That's why I told you, you pick master your main, whichever you want to. Basically that is going to be the main, which will have all the main code. Okay, then for rest of the people, what I'll do as a team lead, I'll create different branches. Means for this person, let's say this is working, I'll create a branch called product. So generally whatever feature they are working on, based on that we create the branches. This person is working on landing page, so I'll create a branch on landing. Okay, branches I'm marking in light green color. Okay, this person I will create a branch about, and for this person I'll create a branch called contact. Okay, so branches name I've kept in light green color, city I've kept in dark green, and the blue color is what the functionality or feature they have to work on. Okay, so every developer is assigned with one page or some feature. Generally whatever is the feature that we create branch name for that. Okay, and then we assign these branches that this person will work on this very feature. Okay, now but to client I have to deliver one single project. So that is how important this main or master branch is. Master or main, either or one will be there. Okay, so main is that one main branch that is like a complete project. Okay, for example, you can think of a tree right now. On a tree. Okay, there is a tree. Okay, one second. There is a tree. Okay, and there are so many branches on it. Okay, there are so many branches on it, but you see it as a tree. So similarly, this one tree is equal to my one client project. It has a lot of branches, because or one repository is your one project. Let's call it as one repository instead of client project. One repository. What does that one repository mean? Okay, that this one repository is what defines my complete project, which is what I'm going to anyways deliver to the client. Okay, and it will have a lot, just like a tree has a lot of branches, your repository will have a lot of branches. Why there is a need of those branches? Because the reason is pretty simple. Now let's say this person is working on a project and he messed up some code. Okay, this person is working on a project, messed up some code, and there can be conflicting files as well. Means for this person that's working on product, and he wanted with product he created 2 3 pages. This person is working on landing page with this person also created, let's say, some card.js or card file. This person also created some card file, some extra file which is conflicting. But in my final project only one card file will go, right? Two card files will not go. Okay, so I'm just taking an example of card. Just like that, there can be basically two files of the same name. Okay. So what this is exactly how happens. So this is the reason who committed what, you know that. If I go here, you can clearly see who which person committed what code. Their account will come. Okay. So let's say if this person is working on product branch, so on product branch, this person will push the code and create a PR pull request, and then this code will be merged with me. So end May, all the codes will come and merge with this only. Okay. So what we do is team lead will create these branches, and everyone will get the access of those branch, and then everyone will push the code. Then team lead will merge all these branches into main. End May, you have to end you have to merge all these branches into main only, because that is what we are delivering to the client. Okay. That is what we are delivering to the client. All these will be merged into one. Okay. But let me do one thing. Let me write merging here. Okay, so here they all are going to be merged here, and that is what we are getting. That merging will happen. So merge only those person can do who have access to this main branch. Okay, and generally team lead or the higher management, someone in the higher management will have the access. Okay, all the team doesn't get access to me in real time. Okay, so let's say this person has to work on features, so I'll create a branch. So branch is what? It's just a copy of the main. Initially, if I'm creating a branch team, it is nothing but a copy of main branch. So all these branches, let's say if I create four branches, these four branches nothing but whatever code is there in main branch. If this is just going to be the copy of that. Okay. Then after that, whatever you code you have, let's say I've created this code. So whatever I'm pushing, let's say I'm pushing some code to this product branch. I'm pushing some code to this. Okay. Let me do one thing. Let me write here. So let's say I have one product branch. Okay. I have one landing page branch. I have one uh, about page branch, and then I have one contact page branch. Okay. And what are these four branches? These are nothing but just coming from, okay, copy of mail. So whatever, while the time you created, let's say I created landing branch today. Okay. So whatever changes, whatever was there in my main branch, that landing branch will have the same code. Then I will give access to this person. Then whatever code this person is pushing, that will go into landing page branch. Then after that, team lead will merge it with the main branch. Okay. Then team lead will merge it with the main branch. Now let's say landing page, or let's say about page. So this person is working on about page. So today, let's say the team lead created a branch called about page. Okay, in about branch, and then today this developer three, whatever about page they have created, they will push it to the about branch. Then team lead will merge that about page with the main. Okay, this is the reason every, so in real time how things work is whatever code you make or whatever code you're writing, we do every day or every alternate, we keep a day, we push code every day. Okay, or we keep like there's a alternate, or there is a some one once in a week depending upon the project requirement. So we push code in a regularly. Let's put regularly. It's not like, I have created the complete about page and then I'm pushing the code. You have to completely like regularly push it like every day. And generally every day we have to make a pull request every day, or we keep a set, or we keep a fixed date. Okay, generally real time mein na, if you're working, let's say you have a sprint of, let's say, or you have a project, let's say, let's not go into sprint and all. Let's say we have to do a project in 6 months. Okay, so generally, you have a shorter time comparatively, depending upon the, of course, what type of project it is. So you are going to make changes every day. Okay, and weekly you have a client call. Okay, so weekly you have to show to the client that this is the progress, and you show the progress majorly in the mail. Okay, so what do? You just do create, the team lead will create different branches. Those branches are nothing but a copy of whatever was the current in your main branch. So automatically it comes from, so though what all these branches, right, they all come from the main branch. So this main is your main branch, so all these will come from the main branch. Okay. And let's say today I'm pushing something to, let's say this developer have worked on landing page, so I'm pushing something, I'm the developer too, I push something to this landing branch. Then team lead will merge the landing page into the main branch. Okay, then this person have worked on about page. Okay, now just think about it, my main branch has changed. Okay, so let me repeat what I'm saying here is I have created a new branch called landing. Okay, landing branch is created from main. Landing branch is created from, it is nothing but a copy of whatever is there in main as is coming in landing page. Okay, now there is also one person created a copy of about page. Okay, now I have pushed whatever I have done, I have pushed code to this Okay, this developer have pushed code to landing page. Now whatever was there in landing page, okay, so now team lead will merge it with the main, because everything has to be at the end of the day everything is coming to main only. Okay, but for main everyone will not have the access. Okay, so this is the, like, proper process that we follow. Now just think about it. Initially when about branch was created, it was the copy of main, but now main has changed. Now main has its own initial code, plus landing page code is also there. So obviously, so now what we need to do, firstly, whoever is working on about, they have to do git pull. Firstly, they need to get the latest code of main. They have to get the latest. I will be demonstrating all of it, no worries. I'll show you how to create branch, how to like someone have created this branch, someone have pushed code to it. Okay, now this person have to do pull, so that's why we do this push and pull regularly. So if someone is pushing the code, okay, team lead is merging with this, then I'll create the pull request so that I get the latest code every time, and then I'll add my about page. Okay, so this is a recurring process which happens in a company, and this is how things works in real time. This is the reason during lockdown, during COVID, or people are able to work remotely, right? Even I work remotely because of this. And right now also, why I'll be able to, I'm able to teach, because I'm able to, connect with you with, like, camera, and then I'm able to record, I'm able to use Pentap to write all of it, right? But how you will get all this material? I'll be giving you all this material, the session materials or everything, all of it, okay, through this GitHub. All this code sharing will happen here. Okay, so this is how important this is. Okay, and this is how things works in real time, so that clarity is extremely super important. Okay, so let me conclude what happens in real time. You When you create a GitHub repo, you can see main branches there. Okay, then team, let's say there are 4 developers, then I'll create 4 branches. Okay, individually based on features or based on person also it can be created. Okay, it depends upon completely the how big or complex project or small project it is. Okay, then one thing has to be very clear, that in output or what we deliver to the client is the main branch. Okay, so everything will come in main branch. So when I'm creating this 4 new branches, okay, all how these branches are nothing but copy of your main branches. Okay, so all these when I'll create now, you can see all those branches here. So you can actually switch between those branches and see the code will also differ. So one person have pushed code to their branch, okay, landing page. Now team lead will, so this person will now they don't even have to communicate. So this person will do a pull request. All those requests I will show you, we will be demonstrating it. It's all going to come here. Okay, pull request will happen. Okay, PR will be requested, then it will ask you to merge the code. Okay, pull request will happen and it will ask you to merge the code, pull and merge. So now this person will, like, then they will check if there is no conflict. Let's say there is already a index.html file, for example. Okay, and this person who was working on landing page, this whole person also created index file, the same file name. So there is a conflict. Now this landing page person has to make the changes. Okay, then what happens? You get all those messages here. I'll show you. You can put all these messages. Everything will come like a mail. So I'll create a new pull request. Okay, so you can just see for what you, let's say right now there is one branch, so nothing much here. But once other branches will come, you will see base branch will always be main, and whatever the new branch will come, that those changes will be compared. If there is no conflict, then they both will be merged into single branch. Single branch it will be, and that branch will be main. So if there is no conflict, then landing page, whatever code you have pushed to landing, it will come to main. Okay, and team lead will merge it, and let's say everyone, let's say working on contact, about, and other pages, they have to do pull request before pushing anything to it. And may always remember, main is that one branch which always have the fixed code. Main is that one branch which have all the fixed code. Okay, like or the latest code. That's why we do this pull and push regularly. Generally it happens, like, if you're working on a project which you have to deliver, let's say, like in 2 months, 3 months, like I'm telling you with my real time experience. So we used to commit whatever we have done today. Your manager can also keep a track what you actually did today in terms of features. So you push every day. We had to push every day before leaving the office, and every day when we come back, every alternate we had to do the pull request. Okay, and you can keep a track every day. So tracking everyone can do. So whatever changes have been made, whatever, let's say you want to see who, like, something has been, now how this about person working on about page know, like, something has been merged to main. So you can keep a track of everything, history and everything, everyone can track. Okay, all right, we will be doing it, don't worry. I'll be demonstrating whatever theoretically I have said. Okay, just one command also I want to talk about, git log, just to show you. There is one git, just like you have git status, you have git log. Okay, so git log will show you actually what changes, what I told you, na commit history and everything you can see. So these are the commit messages. So this was my first commit, which is initial, and this was my this was my first commit initially. This was the message. This was my second commit, and this is my last commit. So three commits I have done to this code, right? And what was the commit message, what time, what date, everything you will see here. So git log will tell you what what you were doing. Okay, and main is always the origin, main is always the base where all the final code will come and watch. Rest of the branches we will create. Okay, don't worry, I'll be creating and everything. We will be seeing it. Okay, but before I go and write the code or write the commands, instead of saying code, I'll say commands. It's better you all understand this complete process, how this all complete process is working. Okay, that clarity is important. Okay, so this is for now. Okay, this is what we have seen. Now, how to create branches. Okay, I'll just show you how to create branch. Okay, so we will see all of it in tomorrow's session. Okay, how to create branch. I'm just showing you what is the difference between cloning a repo and fork. Then I'll demonstrate, okay, how to merge, okay, how to switch between branches and pull. So these are the commands we'll see tomorrow. Okay, so what we have seen today is basic, and I've given you a bit heads up what we are going to see tomorrow by discussing this. Tomorrow, whatever I've explained here, I will demonstrate to you. One more thing, implementation wise, branch and all, if you're working individually, it might not come too much, to be honest. Okay, because you're generally working individually on a project. And one more thing I want to show you, if your repository is private, I'll show you some of my private, or I'll show you from public also. And now this is public, you all can access it, right? This GitHub repo is public, you all can access it, but there is one point here, you all cannot contribute to it. So if you want to add collaborators, you need to go to settings, click on collaborators, and from here you can add like, you need to enter my password. Okay, then I can click, there is a search bar come, you have to put the username and click on add. So now that person will get an email on whatever that person have added the email while creating the account. Okay, so this is how you can add the collaborators on any GitHub repo. Okay, so public means it is accessible by, like, everyone can download and see it. So download is pretty easy. Okay, so you can just do, click on this and download. You will get this code. Okay, but if you want those people to come and collaborate, like I told you, this how team lead will create the repo and main branch. But how these people will collaborate through collaborators, I will add them. Okay, that is how it will work. So that's all for today. This is what we will see tomorrow. Okay, see you guys tomorrow. Thank you.